4 years ago, I was possibly the most eager prospective student that Pomona had ever encountered. Armed with a tattered packet of questions for everyone I met, I ended each conversation by asking, how has Pomona made you who you are today? Throughout my college decision process, I wanted to understand how different colleges shaped students' lived realities, and how those lived realities help them to shape the world. Although we each had separate journeys to Pomona, we may have asked ourselves similar questions along the way. Who am I? What do I value? And how do my values align with Pomona's values? I chose Pomona because we are intellectually curious, because professors here invest deeply in students' lives, because here we are growing the empathy and innovation needed to conquer society's challenges. And today, as we depart on our separate journeys, we ask ourselves, how have I grown? And how can I make this vast and complicated and unjust world better for others? Today, some will say, you made it, to congratulate us for all that we have overcome and achieved. But when I say, we made it, I like to explore a different meaning of the phrase. First, what have we made during our time together? Second, how does what we have made reflect how we have grown and how we can make this world better for others? So, what have we made? Together, we made a community that defies narrow narratives of success. In high school, I often questioned the value of my pursuits because my community defined their value by their prestige. But at Pomona, I was surrounded for the first time by people who unapologetically pursued many passions without concern for prestige. Beyond challenging narrow definitions of success, we've also challenged narrow paths to success. We do so by challenging the presumed unrelatedness of our multidimensional pursuits and by exploring how their interplay equips us with intellectual, emotional, and social resources to pursue our dreams. As a result, we've built a community that defines the liberal arts not as anti-pre-professionalism, but rather as being continually reflective about how we can transfer insights among various experiences. A conversation I had with a senior studio art major on the pre-med track highlights the powerful interplay made possible by embracing a non-traditional path. She shared, "It's not adequate to say that art has changed how I think. Art has changed what I value and what I perceive. Pursuing art has helped me to internalize the truth that progress isn't a series of linear checkboxes. Art returns to itself, and I see that paralleled in research as well, in which you're constantly thinking about material again and again, and where you can go next with what you have now." She then shared that through pursuing art, she practiced the ability to notice and connect details in others' works, and this ability enables her to perceive and to speak about patients' unspoken experiences. Her insights thus capture how our community values abilities beyond the academic and the extracurricular. Together, we have come to value the emotional intelligence needed to bond individuals who may otherwise never interact, and we have come to value the conscientiousness needed to navigate difficult conversations. What else have we made? We have made our day-to-day lived realities known to each other. For some of us, college was the first time that we encountered people whose day-to-day experiences are very different from our own. Through identity group events, TSL articles, and demonstrations, we have illuminated the intersecting identities that inform how we benefit and are harmed by the assumptions of society. For instance, Money Matters Week challenged the myth of meritocracy and revealed how class enables access to and entitlement to certain opportunities. In response, we made changes that reflect these lived realities. When we made decisions, we asked ourselves, who is not at the table and how can we consider their lived realities? After the election in 2016, ASPC worked with the Dean of Admissions and Financial Aid to communicate Pomona's continued commitment to undocumented applicants. When concerns were not being addressed, we made spaces for conversation and we made sustainable solutions. For instance, members of the Glee Club discussed how students are impacted differently by gender-specific performance attire, and they created a new attire policy that recognizes and celebrates fluid gender expression. When communities were not recognized, we carved out structures to ensure their creation and continuation. Thank you, in particular, to the graduating leaders of our veteran, religious, queer, international, Native, multi-ethnic, multiracial, academic, and other communities. And And when all of this was not enough, we gathered signatures and stories and showed up with actionable steps for change. During reading days last semester, two incredible women of color, Kay Calloway and Sagari Kagami, organized a demonstration to advocate for survivors of sexual violence. In 3 days, they mobilized hundreds of students to look beyond their studies, to push Pomona to prioritize survivors, and to take measures to end sexual violence on campus. Our advocacy catalyzed Pomona to create an alumni group offering pro bono legal aid to survivors and to actually start working towards a 7C Title IX policy. To those who have channeled frustration into writing and mobilizing and negotiating and rewriting and remobilizing and renegotiating, thank you for diving deeply into this unrecognized fight to make this place better for others. By learning to fight for each other's lived realities within our elite college bubble, we learn to fight for equity beyond these gates. Together, we have made so much. We have made a community that defies narrow narratives of success, and we have made our lived realities known and actionable to each other. And through the mundane and the meaningful, the everyday and the extraordinary, we have also made so many memories. Working together in the morning glow of fairy breakfast, and putting off work by going to snack. Falling asleep despite drinking yerba mate that depletes us of our flex at an alarming rate, and persevering through the nights and the mornings that blend together and feel like a marathon and a sprint. Plotting birthday fountainings and being plotted against despite experience with our friends' tricks. Admiring each other from afar and exploring each other's rich inner worlds. Abandoning responsibilities to continue unexpected conversations and mustering the courage to begin difficult conversations. Basking in each other's brilliance and remaining loyal in the not-so-brilliant moments. And most importantly, celebrating each other's victories and coaching each other through the disappointments. Stepping in as family, particularly when there's loss within our community, and promising to stay family beyond these gates. What we have made points to how we have grown and provides us with the experiences and courage to make this world better for others. And beyond sharing what we have made, I'd like to thank those who have made the journey to this moment possible. To our housekeeping, grounds, and dining hall staff, thank you for nourishing us, for decorating the dining halls during the holidays, and for maintaining so many beautiful spaces for us to work and to study. To our staff and administrators across the institution, thank you for managing every detail needed to sustain our educational experience, including the detail involved in our beautiful celebration today. And to our beloved professors, you have expanded our worlds. Thank you for introducing us to histories and narratives that are often overlooked, for welcoming our questions, and for epitomizing engaging teaching and research while inviting us to co-create knowledge with you. Thank you for guiding us through difficult concepts and ideas and equipping us to interrogate those very concepts and ideas. Thank you for helping us to identify interlocking systems of domination and for preparing us to deconstruct these systems. Furthermore, you have been our steadfast cheerleaders and our very dear friends, often believing in us until we believe in ourselves. Thank you for helping us to create our own definitions of success and for nurturing our ability and desire to be lifelong learners. Thank you for inviting us into your hearts and your homes, for attending our games and performances, and for expanding our dreams while showing us that they are so within our reach. And to our families in every sense of the word, thank you for showing us your love across oceans and time zones and languages. Your formidable sacrifices have made this education possible. And on that note, happy Mother's Day. When reflecting on my time at Pomona, I am so proud that members of our community advocate for what this institution can and should offer for students, regardless of their identities. However, I'm even more proud to see graduates take ownership of the spaces they occupy once they depart. Today, we become those graduates. Pomona has helped to make us who we are, but we have also made Pomona what it is, and we are ready to make the world beyond Pomona. Dear class of 2018, we made it, and we have made incredible intellectual and institutional changes along the way. I cannot wait to see what we make with the friendships that we have made, the experiences and knowledge that we have obtained, and the incredible accomplishment we have attained for ourselves and all whom we love. Thank you.